Sports Snippets, Dennis Sullivan here on a Saturday night. Just got done watching the Green Bay Packers roll on to the NFC Championship by defeating the Los Angeles Rams by a score of 32-18. It was definitely a pretty entertaining game. Lot to discuss here in this one. Want to provide you with some insights, a couple of things I picked up on during this game. I said to myself a little bit earlier this afternoon, I said, that's a pretty intriguing matchup there, Rams-Packers. Let's go ahead, watch this game, do a quick video on it, see what you guys think. Leave me some comments on what you think will happen along the way here with the Packers now moving on, only a win away from a Super Bowl appearance. If I do provide you with some good insight in this video, go ahead. I would appreciate it if you hit that like button. That would be awesome. But let me earn your like here. Gotta earn it, right? And if you would like to see more videos that I do put together here in the future, go ahead and consider subscribing as well. That would be awesome. You can subscribe to my channel also, and I will do my best to share the best insight I can come up with on various sports topics. So let's get right into it, guys. Really enjoy this one. Was definitely interested in this one coming in, mainly because even though the Rams were certainly not 100%, they had a few injuries, they were battling through that, but they looked good last weekend in defeating the Seattle Seahawks. So I really wanted to just see how this one played out, or would play out, and the Green Bay Packers looked every bit the number one seed, and actually a couple of things about the Packers, which I'll share with you, that I really picked up on that definitely impressed me, and I'll get right into that here in just a second. And then I'm going to discuss a little bit of how the game would break down as far as performance, statistics, and things like that. So those are the main areas. I want to talk a little bit about the flow of the game. I want to discuss statistically how that went. And now, as we move into the Bills about to take on the Baltimore Ravens, that'll be a good matchup in the AFC, which is just getting ready to get started as I put together this video. We know one thing: the Packers are going to play the winner of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers New Orleans Saints game, which will be played on Sunday night, starting somewhere around 6:30 Eastern Time on Sunday the 17th. So, coming in, we knew the Rams have a very good defense. We knew that. And, of course, we knew that the Green Bay Packers, had a very, very good offense led by the one and only Aaron Rodgers, having a very, very good season at age 37. I thought he was 36, but they said 37 on the telecast. And he's playing just as good as ever. I mean, he's playing as well as he ever has played. Before I get into kind of performance type of information, one thing that stood out, and you look at the Green Bay when, of course, they would take over and have possession and stuff like that. Most every possession that Green Bay had, they were pretty much moving the ball, guys. They were pretty much setting themselves up for 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3, 3rd and 1. They were doing well on first downs. The running back tandem is better than I thought, and they ran the ball well also. That was key. Rodgers, I mean, in a way, he had a typical Rodgers kind of game. I mean, the guy just doesn't really throw interceptions. He really doesn't turn the ball over. I mean, he is very good at taking care of the ball, one of the best ever. And then when it came to throwing the football, completing passes downfield, I mean, he had a couple of drops on him too. I mean, the Packer wide receivers did just give up a few opportunities with drop passes. So, I mean, they were getting open. No doubt about that, guys. But when all was said and done, everything looked pretty good for Green Bay. Perhaps right next to Green Bay being able to move the ball, I won't say at will, but I mean, they were moving that ball pretty good. First downs, moving the chains, getting it in field goal range at the very least, if not right into the end zone. The other factor that I wasn't expecting was Green Bay's ability to put a tremendous amount of pressure on Jared Goff, who they would sack him 4 times, and I mean, they would put this relentless pressure on him a few times in 3rd and long, 3rd and 10, 2nd and 10. If you look at a lot of these downs, when it was 2nd, 3rd down, it seemed like Green Bay were usually 2nd, 3rd, and 4 or 5, while there were plenty of times the Rams would be 2nd, 3rd, and 8 or 10, and then you couple in the fact that Green Bay was the team that managed to put the pressure and the heat on the opposing quarterback, where, as I check here, the Rams, I mean, sure, there was a couple times, I mean, they put some pressure on Aaron Rodgers, but they didn't sack him at all. They did not do that. So that was pretty interesting. And in a way, Green Bay, as good as they look offensively, they kind of won this game on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, they kind of did. It'll be interesting now as we move into next week, of course. Be very interesting. I mean, they play the winner of the Buccaneers-Saint game. So it's going to be either Rodgers against Drew Brees or Rodgers against TB12, Mr. Tom Brady. So NFC Championship is going to have a quarterback matchup for the ages, guys. And I know you're looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to it. The Packers look good. They look good. They're going to be hosting that game regardless. So Green Bay at home in the NFC Championship to see if they do advance to this year's Super Bowl. So let's get into the statistical breakdown, guys. I'll have a little bit of feedback with you as well along the way. As I do, I don't usually just go through numbers. If you haven't seen my videos before, I like to touch on a couple of things as well. Jared Goff, as far as throwing the football, I mean, he didn't look bad at all. The problem was getting his receivers open downfield. There's another thing as far as another factor with Green Bay's defense. I mean, they played the pass pretty well also, and the secondary did pretty good. Goff, although he would complete 21 out of 27 passes, he threw for under 200 yards, 174 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. There were no interceptions in this game. But as mentioned just a few moments ago, Goff would be sacked 4 times, guys. That's a lot. And there were a few other times, too, with tremendous amount of heat pressure put on him. The Rams have definitely found something in rookie, well, now technically going into his 2nd season because his rookie season has just ended, but Cam Akers. Let me tell you guys, down the stretch in a couple of these games, you see him really in the highlights, getting a lot of the praise, a lot of the press, and deservedly so, and he looked good in this game. He's got a bright future, does Cam Akers. He would finish with 90 yards on the ground and a touchdown on 18 carries. Goff would have 6 yards on the ground, 1 carry. As far as the receiving core went for the Rams, of course, Cooper Kupp with the injury, that did not help the Rams at all, guys. Of course, I mean, that's kind of obvious. They need him out there. That was unfortunate. Josh Reynolds would have 3 catches, 65 yards. Robert Woods, a very talented wide receiver, would have 8 catches, but only 48 yards receiving. Van Jefferson Jr. would have 46 yards receiving on 6 catches and a touchdown. Cam Akers out of the backfield, 1 catch, 6 yards. Tyler Higbee, 2 catches, 5 yards. Malcolm Brown, a catch for 4 yards. So I think would have perhaps helped the Rams a little more if they would have perhaps got the running backs a little bit involved more. Maybe a little more Cam Akers as a receiver. You don't have Cooper Kupp. I mean, obviously this guy next to Woods, I mean, it's your best receiver on the team. Woods is good. He's a good player. He really is. Didn't really see Robert Woods on his end-around plays. You see a lot during the regular season, once or twice a game. They didn't get him involved in the running game, which is a little bit surprising because they needed something. Now, one thing the Rams did do, they went to the Wildcat offense in the second half. That didn't do too great the first couple of times, and then they scored. That's where Akers would run for the touchdown through the Wildcat. It would be these direct snaps right to Cam Akers. Pretty creative. I give the Rams credit for that because they needed to do something to get that offense moving in the right direction and get the offense back on track, and that definitely helped matters, no doubt about that. For Matt LaFleur's team, the Green Bay Packers, Mr. Aaron Rodgers, 23 out of 36, 296 yards, 2 touchdown passes, no interceptions. Rodgers was not sacked, as mentioned earlier. They mentioned on the telecast, I did not know this until this game, and until this telecast, that Aaron Rodgers has thrown something like 21 touchdown passes this season on play action and how he's utilizing play action. They would mention this after the 58-yard touchdown pass to Lazard. Now, that's something else. He's very successful off the play action. And you know what? Makes a lot of sense because Green Bay is an underrated running team. They have a very underrated group of running backs who I'm going to get to right now. Aaron Jones, we all know him. I mean, it's hard to say he's underrated. I mean, he's very well known. He's very good. Would finish with 99 yards on the ground, 14 carries, and a touchdown run. He was just spinning his way through tackles. I mean, talk about a running back that knows how to use the spin move. I tell you what, Aaron Jones, a very shifty guy, spinning, avoiding tackles, looking really good. Jamal Williams complimented Aaron Jones very well. 12 carries, 65 yards, so he was over a 5-yard per carry clip. A.J. Dillon would finish with nice over 4 yards a carry, about 4.5 yards a carry. 6 carries, 27 yards. So between Jones, Williams, Jamal Williams, and A.J. Dillon, that was a nice productivity, guys. That was a nice performance by a group of running backs that were better than I thought collectively. They are better than I thought collectively and were better than I would have expected collectively in this game. Dillon got banged up there towards the end of the game. Not sure of his status. That's something that we'll have to follow up on. Rodgers credited with -3 yards rushing, if that's what you want to call it, on 4 carries. But that was when they were in the victory formation, a lot of that, if not all of that. And he's running out the clock with the kneel down and the victory formation. Did have the touchdown run. As far as the Packer receivers, Allen Lazard would have 96 yards. He led the way in terms of receiving yardage on 4 catches and that long touchdown reception as mentioned a moment ago. Robert Tonyan would chip in with 60 yards receiving on 4 receptions. Devontae Adams would have 66 yards receiving and a touchdown on 9 catches. They were using Devontae a lot more underneath, wide receiver screen type plays, a lot of that stuff underneath. Marquez Valdes-Scantling would have 4 catches for 33 yards. Equanimeous St. Brown would have a 27-yard reception, 1 catch, 27 yards. Jones out of the backfield, 1 catch, 14 yards. We didn't see much of, just a little bit here and there, the running backs getting involved in the passing game. Not much of that from either team, which was a little strange. Very little of that from either team. Okay, but I tell you what, Green Bay defense, as I was touching on there a little bit earlier in this video, I'll kind of close out with this, guys. Green Bay defense definitely looking underrated to me. I didn't realize they're pretty good. They're good at putting pressure on the quarterback. The secondary looked pretty good. They look strong. They look strong. Now, of course, the Packers are going to go up against either the Saints or the Buccaneers. So that task does get a little more difficult. Rams weren't 100%, and I don't mean to take any credit away from the Packers. Packers look good. But this will be a good challenge for them as they move on to the NFC Championship. And that will be next Sunday. That's the 24th, guys. That is the 24th. So for now, this is Dennis Sullivan. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of the game. Your thoughts on it. Is Green Bay going to move on to the Super Bowl? Are they good enough to beat the Bucs or New Orleans Saints? That should be a good game too, guys. So leave me a comment. If you did subscribe, let me know also. Or just leave a comment to say hi. That would be very, very cool. Very nice. Okay. And that's all for now, guys. Until next time. Thanks again. Have a good day.